Daddy, put some gravy on his biscuits.
I'm pretty sure he meant biscuits.
That's another episode of Bizcuits Gravy, man. Lynn was missing in action last week, but
true. I'm back. What's happening? What's happening? Hey, another day, another night, another episode of Biscuits and Gravy, man. Right. I'm excited,
bruh.
Hey, you did your thing last week too. I just got to cut. You did your thing last week, man.
Appreciate it, bro. I held it down.
Yeah, appreciate you.
But I got to tell the people what you did last night.
What that?
You know what you did last night?
No.
I gotta give a shout out to Shauna, man. You know I love Shauna Roberts, man.
Hey, she cool, but
she turned you into a dolphin last night.
That's true.
She turned into a dolphin. You have no right to call her a dolphin ever again.
That's for another show. Listen, man, I was concerned about my child.
No, man.
That's a poor excuse. You're right.
Hey, for people who don't know what a dolphin is, you just got to go back and listen to a previous episode. We explained what the dolphin was. Lynn was the dolphin last night.
That's true. It won't happen again, though.
It better not, man. I was so disappointed this morning.
You remembered.
I was so disappointed. As soon as I saw you, I was like, you made
man. Yeah, man. That's my bad. I do better. When you know better, you do better.
Right. So for everybody who don't know, because you can't see me right now, I'm sipping on Hennessy Pure White.
Where you get that from over the islands there, boy?
Yeah, boy, I got it from Jamaican Republic.
That'll do it.
I left some more, I got to go back and get it.
Man, crazy.
Man, this week, man, we're going to talk about something that, everybody's like scared of, afraid of, they don't want to admit, but we know you got bad credit.
Not everybody, Chase.
A lot of people we know got bad credit.
Most of them.
And we know you got bad credit. You got to know you got bad credit.
65% of Americans have bad credit.
And I told him to be quiet to be introducing.
No, let him take off, Che. Let him take off. The man is prepared.
Right. So the voice you just heard is my boy, been my homeboy all my life, Kennard Jackson. Self-proclaimed credit guru who taught himself credit repair, understanding credit, how the game is played, because there's nothing really but a game, a bunch of algorithms and stuff like that. And if there's an algorithm, you can beat the system. There's a lot of things that have been done that our people, black people, not even just black people, a lot of people just don't know that's been being done behind the scenes that could help us out. You know what I'm saying? Increase our credit scores, understanding how to use credit properly, stuff like that. And then we got my other homeboy, right, who has impeccable credit and don't know what to do with it.
Excellent.
And amazing credit.
He got me wanting to know what his score is.
Jay Sean Anderson. He'll probably tell you it's on air. It's up there now.
He should be proud of himself.
I ain't going to put that on wax right now because, that stick. But
wax
I'm
stick.
doing all right.
You're doing all right, though. Hey,
good for you.
We're going to get him right. We're going to get him using that credit, man. Also, real estate investor, very interested in wholesales, rehabs, and renovations, and buying whole properties, all that stuff, whatever. You can hit all us up, and we'll figure it out.
Oh, no, ain't no doubt about that.
No doubt about it. And I know y'all saw my last post, too, so go ahead and send that to all your friends, like real estate extraordinaire. And one thing I will say, and self-proclaimed, but I don't care. I am a good realtor. All realtors,
man, don't listen, man. You got to speak it, man.
All realtors
ain't no self-proclaimed.
I have literally seen already, and I haven't been in the game that long as far as having my real estate license. There's some terrible realtors out there, horrible, and I'm not one of them. So call me when you get ready to rent, buy, sell, all that. I want all of it.
Hey, before we get into it, Chase told this to me once, man. It was hilarious. He said he'll put you in the house and he'll put you out your house.
Hey, that's what it is. That's all it is. That's the sum total of the whole thing. You want to get out of this house, I'll get you out of it. You want to get in one, I'll get in one.
My dog.
I'm going to have to quote that or something. Put up
my dog, write it down. Write it down.
You want to get in or out? I'll put you wherever you want to be.
I like it.
I don't discriminate. If you want to get out and be homeless, I'll do that too.
Whatever. Hey, listen, as long as the commission pays, as long as the commission.
It is what it is. Standing in Florida, 6%.
Let's get into the show, man.
Let's get into the show, man. All right. Kennard, man, give us what you got, man. tell us about what you know about credit. What happened? How did this come about? Well, first off, before we even get into that, man, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, who you are, where you're from. Well, they probably know where you're from. I told you, it's my homeboy.
Yeah, so I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida. My name is Quinard Jackson. I graduated with a business degree, but they don't talk about credit. I took every business, accounting, whatever class my college had to offer, and the section on credit was one page. And they just told you, you know, what FICO meant, Fair Isaac Corporation, and who started it. Other than that, they went into no detail. Then after that, I graduated, and boom, I had bad credit. I needed a car. I needed somewhere to live. So I kind of fell into that pendulum that we fall into by seeking out and paying somebody, but I said, no, I'm not doing this. And I just read books on it, and I wouldn't say I cracked the code because there's more than one way to skin a cat, but if your credit is bad, I can get it up for you.
Straight up.
You say you educated yourself is what you're saying by way of reading.
Listen, the man said he read books.
He said he read books. I'm trying to highlight that. No, it's sad. No, I just want to touch on that real quick, man, because no, man, seriously, we need to really take the time to read. I didn't read when I was younger because I didn't like it, but I read every day often. It's the true key to educating yourself, man. Ignorance is not bliss. You need to educate yourself. Go ahead, Kanan. I'm sorry to cut you off on, boy.
No, you good. But other than that, it's just several outlets to kind of get your credit better. And it's a sensitive topic. When you talk about it with your friends, they, you know, hide in the corner because they think your score is 800. But it's like, no, 60% of people, 60% of Americans have probably about a 580, 590 or less.
60%?
60.
As in more than half.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yep. So the person sitting next to you, whoever you listening, probably got terrible credit. That's not bad. That's terrible.
Right, but people don't understand. That could change in 30 days. So 30 days, you can go from 590 to 670, 700. Like, it doesn't take that long.
Right.
Hey, he talking like that. He got to get into the meat and potatoes on, boy. It's like watching a YouTube video and they doing all the other talk. You talking like that there. I'm excited about it.
Let me know something. One thing I will say, especially when it comes to like the Fair Housing Act and like, you know, first-time home buyer stuff like that, people don't understand the credit score they have to have. It has more to do than just your credit or whatever, but it's not as high as you think. People are like withholding themselves from home ownership and stuff like that and utilizing equity and property, which is literally, there's only two places really that, you know, wealthy people or what you consider a rich person invest in, and that's either stocks or real estate.
Right.
All the other fluff stuff, it ain't happening. Right. In fact, the part of the housing market crash that we experienced a few years back was when wealthy people stopped investing in real estate because investing in bonds with the reserve, the Federal Reserve.
Right.
They stopped investing in it because they changed the interest rate to 1%. And I'm like, I'm not going to put my money into this bond when I only get 1% back. Right. So that was part of it. Like, rich people, they were not investing in real estate anymore. They stopped. It didn't make sense. But go ahead, continue on.
So just to jump right into it, because that's what y'all said y'all wanted. Essentially, kind of the first thing that I try to focus on when I help anybody with credit, and I've helped several of my friends, and I've actually learned
those I know.
But you got to focus on your personal information. So your addresses, your variations of your names. Some people have several social security numbers attached to their credit, and they don't even know.
What?
So when you think of that, you have one social security number. Why is there 4 or 5 attached to your credit. So that's probably putting a lot of bad stuff, and those numerous addresses are also bringing in bad accounts. And the way that works is that the credit companies use data furnishing companies, so LexisNexis. What's the other one? It's 2 more huge ones, and they use these companies and they bring in all those collections, and then they just stick them on your account. And if you never log on and check them or update your address and dispute it, it's just gonna sit there. And it's going to sit there for 7 years. And then if you don't challenge it after 7 years for it to come off, they'll let it sit there for longer until you notice it.
Let me ask you a question real quick, man, in regards to that, right? One thing you're talking about, I learned this too, man, because I'll be honest, I had terrible credit. And by the grace of God, I share mine. I have like a 775 or 780, depending on the day.
Big boy credit.
Big boy.
And but I do know that what I started doing, small things, I started educating myself as well. And I started not running away from the creditors. I started having conversations with them. I started opening my mail. You can't imagine how many times I was like, this is from the creditors, and just ignore it. I started taking phone calls. And I started doing small things like that, having conversations with them, checking the accuracy of my score. But with all that being said, my question to you is this, because I've even dealt with this. Like, people will sometimes come after you, what I like to call selling wolf tickets with these idle threats. They'll try to come after you for a credit that's been on your thing for like 10 years. And by state statute, some of these things are supposed to have been off after 7 years. Right. So how does that, how does that affect the person? Like, should you be worried about that, or should you just ignore it? You understand my question?
Yeah. But no. You should be worried about it. And
okay.
The only reason I say you should be worried is because creditors work off fear. And as an American or people, when they send us a letter and they say, if you don't pay me because you owe me, I'm going to sue you.
Sure.
We become fearful, and we like, I do owe SunTrust. Let me start making payments. No, don't start making payments, because you didn't even verify if you even owe them yet. So
right,
if you succumb to their fear, then you could end up paying the debt that you technically don't really owe. So,
you don't really owe it anymore in terms of the statute of limitation. Okay, so with that being said, what do you do? Like, do you ignore it, because from what I understood, if you start a conversation with them, or if you send them one payment, then, and I could be ignorant to this fact, you've then started the 7 years over, because I know that creditors sell your initial debt for pennies on the dollar. In other words, if you owe $100 in debt, just to make it simple math, a company will buy that debt for, say, $30. Yeah. You understand? Which means they paid 30 cents on the dollar. They'll still come. Absolutely, but they'll still come and try to get you for the whole $100 sum. You understand what I mean? So if you engage in conversation or succumb to their scare tactics, and it's been over 7 years, then does that mean your 7 years start over? You understand?
So that's exactly what that means, and that's the point of them scaring you. They want to scare you into one payment, because when you make that one payment on your specific credit account, that resets the debt. So,
that's absurd.
So that's why I explain to people, did you ever pay this collection? And when they tell me yes, I'm like,
what if they say I haven't paid it in 7 years though?
Right. So if they say that I haven't paid it in 7 years, then I kind of made them feel at ease. But at the same time, this is one thing I tell everybody with credit repair: if somebody says, I guarantee you this is gonna come off, you should go the opposite way.
It's a scam.
All right, that's good news, man. That's important.
Yeah. No credit repair person should guarantee anything.
Right.
Like,
just like a paramedic, I can't guarantee saving your life.
Right.
I won't tell you. You may die today. I don't know.
Don't tell them that.
That ain't up to me. I don't tell them none of that.
But
I didn't even know it might be happening. Let know. Yeah.
Well, I will tell them. I mean, we all got to die, Chase. I mean, that's why I ain't on that truck no more, because I'm going to tell them the truth.
You're probably going to die before you get to the hospital, so.
I mean, but listen, heaven is better than this play. You'll be all right. That's if you go.
You'll be okay. Even if you don't.
That's if you going. But go ahead, bro.
But yeah, y'all made me lose where I was.
Well, I can get you back. You were talking about in terms of that's Chase acting like that. He went over to the island and then had that white hand. Y'all.
I might take a break and say I might say intercession, intermission. I know done the show. I'm having a show intermission. I'm gonna give you some more.
Hey, but what happened? No, what we were talking about is about the fact that when you succumb to their fear tactics, and it starts back over, and then you tell them if anybody guarantees they're going to get something off your report, you should go the opposite way.
Yeah. So I totally understand when like someone guarantees you something. What's the first thing that come to your mind?
Let's do it.
Right.
No, to me they're lying. That's
go.
based on my experience. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Is they're lying.
So they're either lying or they're about to do something illegal. So right. So when you see all this like credit sweep, what is a credit sweep? So a credit sweep is kind of essentially a fraud alert.
It's a hacker.
These accounts were fraud, etc. So not everybody does the fraud alert credit sweep, but some people do factual disputing credit sweep. So that's when you look at an account and you just dispute based on the facts of the account. That this is wrong, that is wrong, this is wrong, remove the account or update the account. 8 times out of 10, it's going to get removed because
of inaccuracies? You're saying it's going to be removed because of inaccuracies?
Exactly. So the only way a credit company can put something on your credit is if it's accurate and verifiable. So if it's so many inaccuracies, then it just has to be removed. That's just how it works.
Okay.
So
I want to interject for a second, and I also want to, speak from a point of like practicality for a second.
Yeah.
When you get threats in the mail from, collection agencies or whatever, creditors, whoever it may be, and they say they plan to take, legal action and litigation and stuff like that. And a lot of times that's a lot of the point of the fear. The fear begins with that because a lot of people know that they don't have the money to retain a lawyer to fight it if they needed to. They don't know what they're allowed to go after in terms of assets and stuff like that. Some of these companies may have lawyers on the payroll, but if you think about it in terms of just money, just dollars and cents, do you know what it takes, how much money it takes to just retain a lawyer? Like lawyers make $300+ an hour. So if you say you owe $5,000 to somebody, right? And they say they're going to pursue legal action against you, right? That don't even make sense. You're going to get a lawyer, right, that may even be on your payroll that's getting paid $300 an hour plus to go after me for these $5,000. You're going to spend that money today, right? It's literally an idle threat. This is not worth the fight. It's just it's a threat to get you to panic and pay.
Right.
You panic and pay, it starts over, you pay a little bit, it starts over again. You know what I'm saying? Like, lawyers' retainers are high, right? That's why they went to law school. That's why they have a Jewish doctrine. They're doctors, right? Like, they didn't do this for nothing.
That's a great point. And usually those things are small claims court. And honestly, those are usually like repos, sometimes credit cards, or etc. But whenever it's something like that, I always explain to the person, like, if that's your debt and this credit union clearly wants their money, it's probably your best bet to just call them and set up a payment plan, because I mean they will take whatever payment, but they basically stating we willing to go the long haul to get our money because you owe us. Mm-hmm. We know you owe us. You know you owe us, but you can't ignore me because now I'm gonna involve legal action. So sometimes I tell people to, if it's your debt, look, you just call them, make a payment plan, and then all that will kind of go away.
Right.
Because that can be discussed directly with them, and once you're done paying, then it'll be gone. And those companies like that usually take whatever payment plan that you can do. But that happens, I don't know the percentage, but
is it more likely than not, or the opposite?
I think it's more likely than not.
Okay.
Because you got to think about it. These companies, so certain companies are known for suing you for owing them. Like Capital One, you can owe them $1,000. They want their money. Credit unions, they want their money. Other companies, Chase, they want their money. Other companies will just write it off and then sell it to these smaller collection companies who will either pass it around, and like you said, they buy it on pennies on a dollar, and then they just pass it around to each other until you do like a pay to delete, or until you find an inaccuracy, and then it gets removed, and then they sell it to somebody else.
Well, wait a minute. A couple of things I've learned, because like I said, I had bad credit. Most of it was based on ignorance. And the reality of it is this, man, and to make it as plain as possible, when you have a debt, you do your best to pay it. You need to be responsible and fiscally responsible to pay your debt. And most of us, as a minority and as African Americans, we're not. The reality of it is also, and I'm not afraid to say it, we live, and not just African Americans, this is a national, a countrywide thing. We live way above our means. We buy things that we can't afford. Like we're just flashing, and we did a show, Chase, about keeping up with the Joneses, you know what I'm saying? So you can't even afford these things. You have to be fiscally responsible and understand that when you obtain these things, you are going to have to pay it back. Now, if you fall on hard times and life happens, you need to also, I learned this, don't run away from the problem, be ahead of it. If you took the time, I say this is you got a mortgage, you got laid off or whatever, you're struggling, things happen. Call the mortgage company. Let them know. Make them aware before it's late. And a lot of times they will give you an extension, or whether they put that payment to the back, they'll do things to try to accommodate you before you start to take a hit on your credit score. Most of the time, because of our ignorance and because of the lack of understanding money and credit, we just ignore them. And when you do that, that's going to be a serious issue. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna, and these things affect you forever. You're not thinking about your credit score when you're 20, you're 19, you're 17, 18 years old. But I tell you what, when you're about 28 years old, 30 years old, you're getting older, you want a car and you want a home or something, you think about it. I remember having to put money, the only way I thought you were able to get a car is by putting money down, because that's all I saw growing up. But then I realized, hold on, player. I don't have to put a dime down, and you're going to accommodate me with my needs based on my credit score. Because my credit score is, in essence, my identity. It's my name. It's who I am as it relates to lenders. Right. That's how I feel about it.
Right. And when it comes down to, like, your credit scores and cars and homes and whatnot, that's just going to get you the better APR.
Interest rate. Yeah, interest rate.
So, like, it doesn't matter if you are 800 if you're not going to use it.
Like your homeboy. Just keep it real now. Let's keep it real. I just want to say something off the top here. I will put somebody on a credit card to get their score up for a small fee. Let that be known.
You understand me? Yesterday morning, I was like,
let that be known. I'll get your points up.
You can hit me up right now.
Authorized user.
Daddy, oh, trust me, I've done it for my daughter already, but I can't charge her. Just saying.
It's like charging yourself.
So
Ain't that the truth?
that's actually one of the many ways that most people get their scores up. And, like, that's not a bad thing.
Of course not.
I think it's a great thing. Some people frown upon it, but I'm like, look, it's not illegal. It's not illegal. It's not illegal.
I know it's not good. I literally read I can put whoever I want to on my card. That's my
Absolutely,
card.
you can. Absolutely, you can. The benefit of that is like you know, like I was telling Chase yesterday. My grandma and I, we did the same thing. My grandma had a credit card since like '95, and I ended up getting on her credit card only because I didn't even know this. I was getting on it because sometimes I was like, Grandma, when you want to purchase something, you just use this card. I'll know and I'll take care of it. Because my grandma's a widower and she lives on a fixed income. And I did not realize that they started, and she had never been late. She had never been late. She's been fiscally responsible. In fact, she pays her bills early. With all that being said, you know, I was on the card. Then that said, when they looked at my credit report, okay, you've had a established credit history since 1995. Like, that's huge, and your score goes up. I piggybacked off of her, you know, and I didn't know I was benefiting myself. Obviously, she didn't charge me, but I'm charging.
Grandma card. I was 6 years old in '95.
Well, I surely wasn't 6, but I wasn't.
If I jump on that thing, they might have to put me in a whole nother. They might have to change the score range.
They may.
Change the algorithm.
They may.
It's a great scoring range.
But I'm saying, if I jump on the car, I was 6. Nothing late ever.
So this is what I explain to people when they use AUs. You want it to make sense. So, like, you don't want to go back that far, because then the creditor or the mortgage originator they gonna be like, you had a credit card when you was 6?
Yes.
You gonna give me the loan or not?
Just like I had the lights on when I was a baby. This is called hood rich.
I had a full-time job.
That's
But go ahead. We started to be ignorant in the middle of the year.
No, you good. But it just has to make sense. So usually people get added on to their parents' or grandparents' credit cards when they're about 14, 15. So as long as it dates back to that, I think you'll be fine. And I don't know the different areas, age variations in the room right now, but they debate about 14, 15, and then you're good.
I mentioned this in a prior podcast about I believe you should, and I would imagine most parents want to, leave something for their children. You want to store up something as it relates directly to finances, leave them some kind of property or whatever. But if you're not in a place where you can leave them something, you should at least give them a good head start by establishing their credit. If you put your child on your credit card, at 14, by the time she's out of college, say 22, or he out of college at 22, he's already got credit. He doesn't have bad credit. He does not have credit, because that can hurt you too. He has credit, and that can get him a good start, a good leg up. And a lot of us just didn't know any better, man. We were just ignorant to these facts. And that's why, I think about this sometimes, Chase, on this Biscuits and Gravy podcast. We dropping a lot of gems and nuggets.
Right.
And we're not charging one dime. No. And if I'm honest, sometimes it's frustrating because I don't believe people are taking advantage of the information we're giving them. I've learned
listening, not doing it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Or some just even aren't listening, and we're giving them the information free. It gets frustrating sometimes, but we'll keep trucking, man, because even if one person, like we said from the beginning, learn and benefit from this, we want them to succeed, man.
Right. And we're literally doing the show because I want to learn, right? All the people, like, even like with divorce. You know what I'm saying? Like some things about the different divorces in Florida as opposed to other states I didn't know, right?
No, I didn't either.
That was our second show, right?
Yeah, something like
and
that.
we're going to revisit that topic as well, but there's things I just didn't know. I wanted to learn, and so did you. right? But it like what came of it was just the sum total and the combination of so much knowledge. It was like crazy. It was and like I said, it is free, and it's not a podcast. Period. It's all free freaking knowledge, man. Like listen, right? Like Kennard read books. Like we literally brought you Kennard. Right. Like he's here right now. Like when this podcast comes out, his information gonna be out there. His Google Voice number, so you can contact him. Don't call his personal cell phone number because he got an old lady, and you know what I'm saying. He trying to deal with all that. I got
Taste crazy, man. Taste is crazy.
I'm gonna get some more Hennessy, man.
Tastes good, crazy.
One thing I do want to say is talk to the people a little bit about the what it means when you have these collection agencies and their relationship with your creditors, right? Because I know a little bit about it, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk about that.
So ultimately, you want to put the pressure on the collection agency to prove that they have the relationship with your creditor, and more times than none, the collection agency cannot prove that because they didn't receive the right documentation from the original creditor to even prove that you have a relationship with them. So if they can't prove that, then you don't owe them anything. So basically how you do that is when they send you a collection letter, your next step is to Alexa is talking back right now.
Maybe she know about credit.
It's so unruly.
So the collection company sends you a collection. When you get that, your job is to reply to them to just basically say, hey, please show me how I owe you anything, in which they can't. So 9 times out of 10, when they can't, they're gonna reply back and like tell you to call them. They're gonna say, hey, we got your letter, and we
pause right now. Okay, I got your letter. Bro, you pissing on the show?
Yeah. What you want me to tell you? What you want me to do, man? I'm sorry. Gotta pee. You drinking, I'm taking it.
Out of control.
It's hard out here. Gotta pee.
On the show.
Hey, listen, man. We ain't lying, is it? We ain't got no picture. There it is.
But
Yeah, it is.
you pissing on the show, man.
Oh, my bad, man. We could have told them it was a sponsor. No. Hey, listen, man. I had to pee. I was still in tune, though.
Nobody got your letter.
Thank God you paused it.
I ain't paused nothing.
Are we live still?
You still live, bro.
Oh, did
It's all going live. Soon as I'm done with it, Liberated Syndication.
Hey, listen, man. I had to pee. I'm sorry.
You'll hear piss back on Monday.
Go ahead, man.
So
Jesus.
So the collection company wants to play a game.
Man. Yeah, they do. They do. Go ahead.
They want to play a game with you. So this first letter you get back, it's going to say, hey, we received your request and we're gathering the information. And if you look at the bottom, at everything they send, it's going to say, this is from a debt collector, but we are not trying to collect a debt.
Oh, dead idiot.
Really?
So
I never even knew that.
So that's how you know from that first letter that they know, like, shit, we don't have proof. Let me call Chase, and we got to get this before the 30 days up.
They going to snitch on themselves. That's what they banking on, you snitching on yourselves based on the ignorance and scare tactics.
There you go. So they're going to put a number on there and say, look, call us if you got a concern. Do not call them. Everything needs to be on a letter so you can have proof. So when they mess up, you going to copy that letter and you going to mail it in to all the credit bureaus and say, look, They saying they don't have proof.
And the credit bureau, sorry to cut you off, because a lot of people, it's FICO, Experian, and TransUnion. Not FICO, it's Equifax. Your FICO score is based on, that's what I meant to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Got it, okay.
Yep. And there's also other scoring models. Like, for example, everybody loves Credit Karma, right? Because they give you a free score.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about how accurate are they? Not that accurate, then.
Right.
With that
Credit Karma is a Vantage score. A Vantage score ranges from 350 to 900. They have a different scoring model. So, like, that's why the scores will be different. Now, so a FICO score or a credit score is from 400 to 850. So see the difference? Like it's a difference of almost like 200 points there.
Right. That's all.
But that's mostly because an Vantage score is taking the information and it's not giving you an exact score. It's kind of giving you a range. It's like based on your accounts, et cetera, we will put you at this score. Now sometimes, but most of the time, it's different. But I have seen it where it was spot on, which is weird.
Okay.
So I don't like Credit Karma. There's a site called creditchecktotal.com.
Yeah, I know about it. You got to pay for them, but they're right on though.
Yeah, but it's $1. And
is that what it is?
Yeah, it's $1. That'll give you a 7-day free trial.
Oh yeah.
Cancel it. I usually cancel it after the first day when you pull your reports, and then you have a free account with Experian. And that's honestly all you need. So I tell people, if you ain't got $1, then
you ain't listen. If you ain't got $1, Jesus, I get you.
I get you.
Well, I don't say that. They've made a lot of bad decisions, and they need to do better with their lives.
I give you $1.
That too.
I was about to say that you can contact Business Gravy. We'll give you $1, but we won't.
No, Chase. You know how many contacts people have? We need dollars.
I'm telling you right
Somebody
now,
can give us $1.
Give you $1. No.
Right. Give me $1. I'll take it.
So let me ask you this, man. How does it work in regards to credit to debt ratio?
So certain credit companies look at that.
Mm-hmm.
When you're buying a car, they look at that. Like that's one of the reasons why that loan originator wants to know where you work. They want to know how much you make, and then even when you tell them that, they like, no, I need to see tax return or a check stub. Cause like you can tell me you make $100,000 a year, but then when I get your check stub, you make $40,000 a year. Like,
yeah,
that's a big difference. That's like
sure.
That's not
60 G's.
Right, and you in here telling me that you want this Mercedes, but you make $40,000. But this car is $40,000, so there's no way you can get this because your payment gonna be $1,000.
And then,
unless you gonna live in it, then you can get the Mercedes.
You gonna live in that mug.
But other than that, so debt to income is more important for home loans. Definitely home loans and personal loans.
Especially because of the term. It's
right.
So long, 30 years. So starting off right makes a big difference.
Right, because if you don't start off right, it's no way you're going to finish that loan. And they're going to be coming to get their house.
they'll definitely come get it.
Yeah.
I'll come get it too.
Yeah.
Told you, put you out of it. Put you in the market.
Foreclosure is real. And
it is real.
And like people have to understand that it's normal. Like
hold on, what's normal?
Foreclosure is definitely normal.
No, that has to change, man. I don't think the mindset of that being normal should be a problem. I would say it's common, but it should never be normal.
So
in my opinion.
Let's say it's common, But most people try to hide it when it comes, but you can't hide it. It's the same thing as getting that debt in the mail and you just throwing it away.
Right. But one thing I will say, I'll agree with Kennard. It is so common, it's normal.
Yeah.
Like, look, and also it's also public knowledge.
Right. No, it's definitely public knowledge, but I'm saying
so
in terms of
people in foreclosure and pre-foreclosure, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, but I just think that the mindset of it being, I understand what you guys are saying, but I'm talking about the mindset needs to change in terms of it being normal. But the biggest reason, would you say, is because people are living beyond their means and buying what they can't afford no doggone way?
Yeah.
Like, everybody's not getting laid off for losing your job. And I said this before, and I stand by it. We don't have a money-making problem. We have a money-managing problem.
Yes.
And if you want to, buy all this bull crap because I drive a Ford Focus, bro. You understand me? And that Ford Focus going to get me to the same place your Mercedes is going to get you to. If you can afford the Mercedes, buy it by all means. But the reality of it is the majority of them can't. The majority of people can't. And then these high interest rates, because your credit score is so bad. Like, you can literally, you can buy a 2019, say, Ford Escort. They don't make Escorts anymore. Ford Ranger, right? Mm-hmm. Both of us can buy the same truck. But if my credit score is, say, 775, 780, and yours is 550, you will be paying 2 times to 3 times more for the same car than I would be.
Right.
The same exact car. Your payment can be $700 and mine is $250.
Yeah.
Based on your credit and your interest rate. That's how important this is, and how we need. And also, when you got bad credit, that does not mean it's the end. Educate yourself and work on it. That's why we're talking about the show. I told you I had bad credit. I just refused to stay there. I educated myself. I pay my bills, and you can get a free, correct me if I'm wrong, Kanal, you can get a free credit report every year from the bureaus, right?
Yeah. One time a year, you go to freeannualcreditreport.com. They will give you up to date. The only thing they won't give you is a score.
So a score, but they'll give you what's on it.
Right. Is that you don't need to see the score. Too many people run off the score. Like, you get the information correct,
right,
and get your accounts in order, and then when you see the score, like you'll
right. You worry about the score. You can look at your credit report, see all that red stuff, and see that it's crap.
Right. You can
guess your score.
And most people know they got bad credit or good credit. Like, it ain't no doggone surprise.
You saw that red stuff.
People, they know what they have. Like, you got bad. Ain't nobody got bad credit and surprised by it. You know your credit bad. Let's be honest.
But see, so I got another gem that I want to drop.
Drop it.
Everybody has Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Right. So everyone has Facebook. Good credit, bad credit, doesn't matter. There are several Facebook groups with people who will. All you have to do is ask questions or go in there, and they got all the letters, all the templates. If something comes up that you don't understand, you just make a post, blur out your personal info, the account number, and you ask them, and we all help each other for free.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
Whenever I meet people and they like, oh, I don't want to share my personal business, I'm like, that's fine. So join this Facebook group, and I want to see you posting in it, and it's absolutely free, and there's several of them. I think it's like 10. You can join anyone, and it's all the same people in the 10 groups.
And, right, and a lot of times Facebook groups are like based on like a geographical location. So you're talking about 10 just in like where we're at.
Right.
That's just in like Palm Beach and like Broward or whatever.
Right.
That's just here.
So
no, you need the information once.
Yep.
You don't need it one time to get the info to learn what to do, or templates or whatever.
So there's several alternatives. Most people think they got to pay somebody. You don't have to pay anyone. You can do it yourself. And if you want help, if you want free help, go on Facebook.
But if you're lazy, you can pay Kennard.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're lazy,
No, I mean, if some people not even so much lazy, Chase, some people just don't have the time. You know what I mean? They just don't have the time to go ahead and get the information or get the disputes. And sometimes it's easier to pay somebody. And by all means, man, with the information, to be honest with you, if somebody can tell you they can get your credit score up 100 points, that, my friend, is worth thousands, literally, because that's the difference from you being in a home or being homeless. That's the difference from you buying the car you want or not having the car. That's the difference from buy here, pay here. That's the difference from saving. You'll make that money back over the term of your loan and just your interest rate alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, by all means, if you don't have the time or just ignorant to the fact or just lazy, it will be an investment. I did this years ago, man. When I first had my daughter, I invested in myself. I bet on myself, and I invested in myself. And God knows it's paid tremendous dividends. That's what you're doing when you invest in your score. They don't know you by face. I come into a place to purchase a car or anything I want, and I got a wife beater on, some gym shorts, and my hat turned backwards. They're ignoring me. But that's who I am. They ignore me until they run my credit. And because that's the only thing they know me. That's the only thing they're concerned. Once they run my credit.
You turn into Mr. Roberts then.
Then I turn into Mr. Roberts. That's true. Yeah. And now they keep calling. And another thing is the freedom behind it. No, sir. Absolutely not. But what it does is now it puts you in the no nigga can't lick nothing on me, Chase. Period. Let me get that clear. But you got me. What's wrong with this man?
It's the drink.
Yeah, I guess so.
If y'all don't know, I should just bottle of pure white.
Okay. Well, at least he ain't got to work tomorrow. When you do that, you put yourself in the driver's seat. Now you call the shots. You understand what I'm saying? Right. You get to be in more control of what your money is doing for you. And I want to thank you, Kanad, too, man, also about the fact that you're giving this knowledge for free, man. I don't think it's enough of us as a people that's looking out for one another. I think we, in fact, I have to speak tomorrow at the institution. I'm going to touch on unity. There's strength in unity, man. If we can come together and stop being so intimidated and hating on one another. But I don't think it's fear. It may be rooted in fear, but it's like we feel like we're competing. Listen, it's enough for everybody. Just because they're successful doesn't mean you're not going to be successful. Let's help one another because we're struggling already as a people. Right. That's just the reality of it.
I was going to say, the reason I think it's fear because I think that people are so afraid that, like your fellow man and people that close to you will run afoul to you because you may have seen it before. Right. I think people are afraid that you're going to cross me in some way.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. You know what, man? You just got to go blind sometimes. That speaks to our vulnerability. And, Chase, we're going to talk about a vulnerability show probably the next podcast.
Right. And you got a podcast coming up by ass whoopings, too. Y'all got to come back with that one.
Oh, well, they save lives.
Ass whooping saves lives.
No, for real, they do.
I made a post. We made a post yesterday about it. It's a poll out right now. I need everybody to go vote on it. Like we would say, our lives were saved by Christ's ass whooping. Sure.
No, it's absolutely saved my life. And it saves my life. Listen, I'm working on saving my son's lives, all their lives.
Right now.
You know what I mean? Whatever it takes. Think about this, man. We're gonna go to different topic, but it's our show. We do this all the time.
We do whatever we want.
Think about this here. The police will jail you for spanking your children, but it's all right for them to shoot and kill your goddamn kids.
Right. And
now you tell me what the hell going on.
Right.
You understand me? So I ain't about that, man.
But did y'all see the video of the dude that shot the cop that shot the pregnant lady?
No, Chase, I didn't see it.
Despicable, dog. That's crazy.
I don't want to hear about it.
What are you so damn afraid of?
What do you mean we? What do you mean we?
I mean, he pulled his pistol out on a pregnant woman who had known schizophrenia, unarmed, and shot her like 5 times.
Oh my God, he killed the Chase.
She was pregnant.
He killed her
and the baby.
Chase, you done changed the whole. This show got the end, bro. Chase done changed the whole move. Chase, next time we do this show, you can't drink no doggone pure white.
I mean, the whole dynamic of everything.
No, the whole dynamic.
I saw it. I was like, this is like what?
This cat here done changed my whole move.
I'm scared of.
I don't know what he's scared of, man.
Listen, bro, that woman couldn't have done nothing to any of us. Nothing. I'd have took the whole gun belt and all the whole little tool belt. Took the tool belt off. Damn, Bob the Bill ass cops. Take your tool belt off.
Take it easy, Chase. Yeah. Take it easy.
Bring these hands with you. Come on. You get his ass whooping, it is what it is. You get his ass whooping, I get to go free.
Take it easy, Chase. Kennard, go back with the credit. He's on another level today.
All the way turned up.
Yeah. Is he tired? He had a rough night last night. Well, not rough, but it was
actually pretty decent.
It was pretty good, but I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to make concessions for him.
You have no idea.
Hey, Chase, let me ask you this, man. Are you going? That's true. And I ain't getting off it. Are you going to? How do you say it? I'm learning the verbiage. Link. How do you say? Put a link in the description or something like that. All information. How do you say it?
Tag.
You don't know. What is it called?
Talking about putting a tag, but yeah, I can put a link in.
Like when I'm talking about in terms of his contact information and contacts of all these face. How do you say that? What's the proper way you say that?
Well, you can say tag. I'm going to tag in the post.
See, when I hear tag, I think you tagging somebody like a friend or something.
I mean, well, you have tags that you can tag people in photos, but you have like hashtags. You can tag someone like at their name in the post or whatever. It'll like guide you to their page on whatever social media site it is.
All right.
So I mean, it's the same kind of concept or same terminology, but it can mean different things.
Hey, Kanal, let me ask you a question. Well, not you so much. The other homeboy. I'm sorry, I forget his name.
Jay Sean.
What's going
Jay
on?
Sean. He there. He said that so quietly. Did you learn anything from it?
Of course, I learned a lot of information. He kind of helped me along the way, because I want to say like 2 years ago, but that was my first time getting my credit report.
All right.
I'm coming from a place of not knowing at all to knowing a lot more than I knew before. So
okay,
it's just a learning
that's
process.
good. What stands out to me with you, and I want to ask you this question because it goes back to most of our ignorance is based on a generation of ignorance because our moms didn't know the importance of credit and because of hardship and different things of that nature. And I'm not making excuses. We didn't know the importance of it. But you have, even with some of your limited information about credit, you had good credit. You have good credit. So my question is, were you taught to be fiscally responsible in terms of paying your bills on time? Or even if you weren't taught directly, did you see your parents do that? Like, I'm just trying to figure out, how, if based on the ignorance that you said, how did you go about, knowing better and paying your bills on time?
So first, when I went out to school, my mom told me not to get a credit card because when she was younger, she got messed up with credit cards. So I didn't get my first credit card until I was 25. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a real credit card, it was a security card. So I had to go to a bank to put up $500 so I can get that credit for it.
Yeah, but it's going to get your credit up, though.
Exactly. So I did that first. But along the way, I always had the mindset of never being a slave to the lender.
That's biblical, homeboy.
Right. So
somebody, let me see his face. Move the camera over, Chase. Somebody, let me see his face. There we go. Somebody, no, move it over a little more. He need to come closer. There we go. Okay.
So being that, I always had that mindset. Like, even if I owed my homeboy some money, as soon as I had the money, I was gonna pay it back because I didn't want to never have that hanging over my head. So
you want to keep your nose clean.
Yeah, I just took that mindset with everything that I had, like every credit that I had, anything that I owed that I was gonna pay back as soon as I got it. So I just that mindset to be able to do it what I got now. So
as long as I owe you and never go broke.
Exactly.
I'm not guilty.
Well, I mean, me and a good friend of mine, my brother-in-law, we said being in somebody's pocket. I hate being in somebody's pocket, man. And I was taught that by my stepdad. Like, when I owe you, because I want to get that weight off me. But that also speaks to your character. You understand what I'm saying? And the reason I was asking you about that, because most of us, and I say this even at the institution, man, most children learn more from what you do as opposed to what you say. Or what you tell them. Your mom told you that. My mom told me two things, which told me a lot of things. But two things she told me. She said, baby, don't get no police record, she meant. And she said, don't mess up your credit. My mom did tell me that, but what she failed to tell me is how to go about messing up your credit. You're just telling me not to do it. I don't know how to do it or how to make it better. And I think that was based on some of the ignorance even that she had. She just knew you don't want to do it. But it stayed in my mind. I owned my first home at 24 years old. And what I've learned, that's young for African Americans, but that's kind of old for Caucasians. You know what I mean? They own their, because they're taught and they see different things, and we're just trying to make one another more aware of being fiscally responsible and ultimately being financially free. Financially freedom to me is not being the richest person on the planet. It's being to pay your bills comfortably.
Correct.
And living beneath your means where you don't have a struggle, and also having some kind of surplus. You know what I mean? So, man, I just wanted to ask you that because I think that's awesome, man. You now that your credit score is right, I tell you what, I don't know if you got an old lady or not, but you're on your way home, boy. Good credit. You women better understand this. If you got a man, I'll tell you right now, if you got a man with good credit, this to the women, you might want to hold on to something like that there. Because you got all these gangsters, these thugs, these playboys, these good-looking dudes with bad credit. They can't do nothing but take nothing from you anyways. Your credit bad, they credit bad. Where you going? Nowhere. Except for an efficiency. And Chase will put you in one, and I'll rent one to you. And I'll rent you one, too. I'm trying to buy a triplex.
I can't wait to put you in it.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Hey, listen, man, I got to get out of here, man. My old lady came in the room. I got to get out of here, man.
What's y'all at? Tell her come say hey.
She can't hear you, Chase.
She can't hear me. She can't.
I ain't gonna know.
You know you're gonna do the right thing, Lynn.
Well, I'm gonna do the right thing today.
I can't say hey to Sean?
No, she left. Because I don't trust the way you're behaving on the heat. I got trust issues. And I want to say this one thing too. Hey, man, I want to link up with all y'all so we all can hang out, man.
Yeah, my brother said he wanted to do like a homeboy show. So all your homeboys, all my homeboys, it's gonna be.
Oh, let's definitely do that. It feels good, man, to have a lot of positive young African American men doing positive things. Man, I love us as a people. I love everybody, period. And I also just want to commend all of us, and I say this a lot. For anybody listen, every Black African American man, and this is to Caucasians, Europeans, and even other brothers, even other Black people. We're not all a threat. We're not all violent. We're not all ignorant.
Right.
And if we can just come together and truly care and help one another, we'll go so far, man. Real talk. We're better fathers than our fathers were. We're more educated. We have more opportunities. We're doing our things. It just doesn't get highlighted. What get highlighted is the bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's a small majority of who we are, a small majority representation of who we are. So when you asked the question, Chase, earlier about what are they afraid of, they're afraid of the image that society and the media is portraying of us.
Right.
It's not true. It's inaccurate. And that needs to be said, man.
Right. And I'll say, and I'm not that I didn't think about it, but speaking of, like the three of us, my brother, and a bunch of other of our homeboys that we grew up with all of our lives over there, we're still in the same circles. Still in the same circle that we were in when we were 10, 9, 8 years old.
6, 7 years old. Al Tatum playing baseball.
Well, that's where we all met each other.
Hold on, all y'all played baseball?
All of us.
Mm-hmm.
God, dog, bro, listen to me, man.
We talking
That's
about 20
awesome.
years in the making.
That's awesome, man.
Not
awesome.
All of us are not a professional. We're all college graduates. None of us have been in prison or jail. None of that. Or whatever. None of us.
Hold on now. When you say college graduates, because not all of us having a degree in college graduate, that's the same thing. Some haven't dropped. Failed out of college before.
That don't happen.
Me.
Everybody.
We all got
Everybody. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm talking about my homeboys ain't getting to college. They ain't even finished high school. but they doing some good things. I'm just keep it real. But they doing some beautiful things. They lie.
Right. Well, one thing I want to attribute to it though is like we had like certain places that we could go and be almost like free. And this is a whole different topic, but we were free to go like Clear Lake, 502 Clear Lake. Bro, we could go. Wait, we had our first drinks there.
That was our safe haven.
We're safe haven. Like we had our.
Have we created one, Chase, for the future? For the youth. Have we created one, or is there still one?
I don't think we have. I don't think we have because I got to.
That's our responsibility, man. That's our responsibility.
Sure, because we had places that we could go together. You know what I'm saying? Being with our friends to where we wouldn't be criticized. We could make mistakes and stuff like that, and be underneath the safe haven of people who loved and cared for us. People who had made mistakes and didn't have that place. Right? Yeah. So shout out to Andrew and Deion Watson.
You take a village.
Right. That's one place that we went where I couldn't drink in my own house, but I could drink it there.
Don't highlight.
It's not
I know you're not, but make it plain. I get what you're saying.
When I messed up, I was able to mess up there. I was able to mess up there where I couldn't leave driving. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't kill myself or kill nobody else. I couldn't. The gravity of the mistakes I could have made were significantly decreased because I was there.
I understand. The safe haven.
I could have, I could have had people in my life that wouldn't have let me do none of that or make none of these mistakes, and I could have done them when I went to Florida State. Right? Where there was nobody to, restrain me when I couldn't restrain, to do for me what I could not willingly do for myself. Right? But I had it, and we all had it. And look at what happened. I'm telling you, all of us, none of us are criminals. All of us have degrees. Man, I can't wait. We have to do a Facebook Live or record that live so people can see how many of us it is.
No, I think you need to set that up because that's a wonderful platform. And Chase, I'm gonna say this here too. We got to make this 2 shows, Chase, which is fine. You got to splice it to make it 2 shows. But I just really. I don't know what time it is, but the reality, you'll make the decision. I trust your own boy. But the thing is, man, I love us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the image of us is not the best, but it's also not true.
Right.
It's not accurate. Like if they see all of us walking together, right? And I'm gonna tell you something. If all 4 of us are walking in the street downtown, having a good time, chilling, the Caucasian will be intimidated. And you want to know the reality of it? African Americans too will probably look at us like, okay, what these cats up to? You know what I'm saying? Your guard will be up, and that has to change, man. I started making it a point because sometimes I'm guilty of it, man. And I'm like, where did this come from? I look at another dude, I'm like, I'm mean mugging him, he mean mugging me. Like that's not good. So I just made it a point to start smiling. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? You know what I mean? We're not enemies. But we've also believed the fake narrative or the false narrative that society has, placed on us. We believed it too. Yeah. I'm going to say something that's going to be controversial, but it's true. And most people ain't going to like it, but it's our show. If you don't like it, you ain't got to listen. The fact of the matter is, man, ain't no cop. That was wrong for what that cop did.
Yeah.
There's no police officers killing more black men than black men. That's the bottom line, homeboy. That's the truth. And that, my friend, if we don't tackle that issue and address that issue, I'm not a threat to you.
Bro.
We got to change that, man.
Bro, I'm so tired of English. It's crazy. We took a gentleman we actually trauma alerted him to North Broward, and he said, and I'm not going to give, information about where it was or whatever, but he said it was his like 4th or 5th time being shot. Are you still there?
But who's shooting him, Chase?
You target practice, fool.
Who's shooting him?
Another black person, another black man.
And you know what I'm saying? Like,
you still in the same spot. I'll see you next week.
He definitely target practice. It ain't funny, but
you target practice. You got shot in the same house.
And you still out there.
And your mama act like she don't know what's going on.
No, here's the thing. Her mama knows what's going on. But listen. She knows what's going on. Chase her credit too bad. She can't move. That's why she got to call Kennard to get that right, baby. We got to get you up out of there. We got to get you up out of there, baby. Chase will get you out of there. Right. Kennard to get the score up. You got to get out of there, baby.
Right here.
You got to get between the 3 of us, man.
Hey, listen. Let me talk to Sean, man. I can't believe it.
Man, listen. I'm finna go and talk to my wife / girlfriend / chick on the side, my baby mama.
Next time I see Sean, she ain't let me talk to you.
Man, hey, listen. I'm out, fellas, man. I appreciate it.
She can hear me. You know she be right.
She can't hear you. She can't hear you. Listen. She can't hear you today. Hey, listen, Chase. Set it up, man, so we can all link up, man. Right, and I still want to go to that brunch thing that you told me be going on in Palm Beach or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I'm with it.
Hey, Kennard, thank you, man, for all the information, man. I really appreciate that. Make sure you get this man linked. Yeah, and Jason, listen, I commend him because he had good credit and responsibility in handling this business before he really even knew what good credit was.
Yeah, he showed restraint.
Appreciate you.
He way better than I was. Because I have a 400 credit score, but I had 500s all night long.
Well, wide open with it, too.
Wide open. I mean, when you know your credit bad when your aunties or your mama won't co-sign for you. Hey, listen, I'm going to leave you with this here, man. A dude told me this before, and this what enlightened me. He said to me, because I was mad that nobody would co-sign for me. because I wasn't taking responsibility, nor was I taking accountability. He said, how do you expect somebody to trust you to take care of their credit score when you didn't take care of your own?
That's true.
You dig? When he told me that, I got myself together. Hey, man, peace out, man. I love y'all, man.
All right.
And I'll holler at y'all.
See y'all later.
Hey, Chase.
Yeah.
This ain't no church.
It's an institution.
Peace out.